friends and neighbors. It's Bingo is Life, the podcast.
Wow, that was the best pause I've ever heard.
Thank you. Yes, I'm joined in
Who are you?
stereophonic sound. But I'm getting to that. I'm saving that.
Nice.
Stereophonic quality sound. On my left is Chris Howdyshell.
Stereo.
On my right is Mike Howdyshell.
Hi.
In the other corner,
Nobody puts moms in the corner. How did
in
this
the corner, in the center of the stage. Brittany Mom Shackles Mongol.
Hello.
Hello.
And I am your ever loyal host, Dan Easley. Jay Zaire is out.
Oh,
He'll
Jay.
be back.
He's practicing his stand-up routine.
Yeah, that's
down
right.
In
Yeah.
Stanton, Virginia at Bricks doing an open mic.
Lucky
Yeah.
Stanton
Yeah,
is what I'm
Lucky
saying.
Stanton.
Lucky Stanton.
He's prepping a stand-up bit for a show that's going to happen in December on the 20th. It's a home for the holidays stand-up comedy show at Court Square Theater.
Awesome. Good luck, Jay. I mean, break a leg, Jay, right? Isn't that aren't theater
Jay,
people?
be funny or else.
There you go.
There's a superstition.
The theater people are like super superstitious or like just
There's
kind of
certain
stitious?
things. It depends on how theater you are.
Okay. How theater are you?
I haven't seen any ghosts yet.
Well, I will say, when Jay left this evening, I said good luck, and I immediately went, "Oh, you're not supposed to do that."
Yeah.
We'll have to touch base after the show and make sure he's okay.
Okay, good.
Since you obviously cursed him. How dare you?
Yeah, I
Before
know.
we move any further,
Speaking of curses,
I do want to give everybody that we just had a very hot parasailing tip from three from three dudes that just rolled in
they
here.
just rolled in. One of them's a plumber.
Yeah.
One of them's I don't know.
Plumber's friend.
A plumber.
Maybe even a plumber's helper.
Plumber's friend.
I think the other one owns a house.
And a Miami tour guide.
When parasailing, when they ask you how high you want to go,
Yeah.
you say 800 feet,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
then you
the
take
pinnacle, apparently.
and you take all the pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you're Dan, you hold on.
You hold on very tightly, white knuckled, going,
I'm just thinking, for anyone that's listening to this, how confusing it must be. What are they talking about?
Parasailing, Mike. Parasailing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Be good.
for the 300 feet in between 800 and 500, you're taking pictures, and then for the 500 to the ground, you're doing the Dan scream.
Oh, okay. I got
Oh,
it.
right.
Or no, you're looking for sharks. You're looking, you're
All right.
thinking, are there sharks down there?
There's sharks.
I
There
hope
are
you're-
sharks
are
down
you
there.
like-
They're all
oh,
over.
Parasailing.
They don't care about us.
That's with the water. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about skydiving.
Is it like? No.
That's a little different. Yeah.
However, if you're going skydiving, we
to
suggest a height,
8,000.
yes, higher than 800.
Is that even time enough for the parachute to open? Probably
No.
No.
Probably not.
Wow, that was awesome. The Bingo's Life guys
Yeah.
told me
They told me to jump at 800 feet.
I don't know what 800 feet looks like.
I should also say the reason we talked about parasailing is
Yeah,
because
they brought it up.
we told them that we think Harrisonburg's cooler than Miami, and they Brittany
I
Mom
was
Shackles.
told Harrisonburg is cooler than Miami.
Yeah.
By someone
Except for
By
the
one
parasailing.
person
Yeah.
at
in
one
May.
point.
In May. So,
May.
a lot may have changed by May.
Yeah.
Since then.
Hey,
I have to call Miami and see if it's still relevant.
speaking of Bingo is Life,
Yeah.
how were the games this evening?
You know what? I think our sponsor, Ruby's Arcade, would be very proud of the games that we did this evening. It was a good turnout.
Nice.
A lot of energy in the crowd. It felt good.
The highlight of the evening was the What's in the Box prize was a backpack that you can carry your cat in,
Yeah.
and it has a
Bubble.
Yeah.
a bowl
Oh.
so that the cat sits in there and stares out the bowl. And
I'm not sure how I feel about that as a prize.
Well,
but
It really matters what the cat feels about it. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter how
well,
you
yeah,
some
feel.
cats
yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, some cats are like,
I've seen
"What
cats
is
in
up?"
the cat pack, and I never know. Is that cat like really happy with that?
It depends on the cat.
Yeah.
Hope, our fan Hope, was the winner. Does Hope have a cat?
No. And her husband said, we are not getting a cat.
So I guess he'll have to go into the backpack.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and he'll have to be happy.
So Connor will be in. It's a Connor pack.
Yeah.
No, it was a good bingo tonight. It felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to remind our faithful listener, hi Grayson, that's every Tuesday evening at 7:30 here at Ruby's Arcade.
It really is.
It's free 50 free.
All the games are free on Tuesdays.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Like all the games on Tuesday.
The whole thing. You come down here.
Yeah.
Booze and food's the only thing you got to pay for.
It's an entertainment extravaganza.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Are ye not entertained?
You know what would be entertaining?
What's that?
An Unexpected Notion by Dan Easley.
Ooh,
Maybe
I like
another Unexpected Notion.
Another?
By Dan Easley.
Thank you. Once upon a time, in a wonderful enchanted forest, there lived a spry and precious bunny rabbit whose name was George. I'm Dan Easley.
That was another Unexpected Notion with Dan Easley.
I'm kind of expecting it into that story at some point.
I swear, George.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for an Of Mice and Men reference.
Hey,
That
George.
does not bode well for the bunny rabbit.
There is quite a bit of literary research that goes on in the creation of these things. You wouldn't know it.
He digs deep, guys.
Yeah, right.
He digs deep into this.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to meet our guest?
Yeah.
Lovely guest.
And very patient guest.
She's so patient. She's so patient. She came for bingo. She played.
I can't believe it.
Oh, you played.
I had a ball. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And let me just say, I told Brittany this. My great niece and nephew, they come here to play bingo.
Okay.
We also play bingo at my house.
Oh, fun.
I recognize what the things they've been saying. I didn't know where that came from.
Oh, good.
Trust and verify, they say all the time.
Yeah. It's our favorite bingo and Ronald Reagan quote.
So our guest is a good sport. She is a great sport.
Nice.
She is also an artist. We have Barbara Camph. I know her from Oasis Art Gallery and from art. She is a
Sounds like a bingo number to me.
She's a mosaic artist with glass tiles, and she's incredible. Thank you for coming on the show, Barbara.
Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you for having me.
What is your title at Oasis Art Gallery? Do you have one?
I'm just a member.
Just a member.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can usually find Barbara there if you're coming in on a good day. She has beautiful purple hair with some sparkles in it. She loves purple, and that's a good way to identify her.
Awesome.
Barbara has one of the reasons we have a lot of artists upcoming in booking is because there's an artist show at the gallery at the Smith House Gallery, and so I've been seeing them around my office, and I've just been kind of grabbing folks as they come by. I'm like, hey, come here. I'm going to schedule you for the podcast. Come talk about your art.
And they're like, that's great,
Good
but
job.
stop grabbing me.
Yeah,
And what's a podcast?
right. It's this. So
Good for you. That's great. That's
thanks.
great.
Good for you, Barbara. So Barbara spearheads a lot of activities too at Oasis, and has done a lot of community projects where you have people come in and help you with the mosaics.
Yeah, I like doing community projects. You know?
Oh, very cool.
And I think that just makes people more aware of art, how fun it is, and
Well, tell us a little bit about your journey as far as art is concerned. Where are you coming from? Where'd you start? How'd you end up here on this weird podcast?
I am so lucky.
Luck. Yes. Thank you, universe.
I learned stained glass as a hobby.
Okay.
And my husband and I had a midlife crisis and quit our corporate jobs in California.
A synchronized midlife crisis.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We had an age difference, but we synchronized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We moved to Portugal, and none of the corporate experience we had was useful there. We had to work.
Right.
So I took my hobby and made it my business.
Very cool. And so the stained glass windows or stained glass art became the business?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And what did he do?
He was by training a mechanical engineer, which lent itself to making custom-made furniture.
Look at
Yeah.
that. So you made furniture and staying in Portugal.
Yeah.
How long were you in Portugal?
12 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then we came back to the States. We thought, where can we live next? So we bought a van, put some beds in it.
Van life.
Van life,
Yes.
baby.
Yeah.
Put our cat in the van and
Okay, good.
traveled the Pan American Highway. That's
Okay.
what we wanted to do, and ended up in Panama.
What?
Wow.
And then how long were you in Panama?
6 years.
6 years in Panama. So Portugal, Panama.
12.
And did you do the same thing there? Stained glass and furniture making?
I did.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. How did you, where did you go next? Or there might be more.
No. Then sadly, my husband became ill, so we went to Michigan, where his family had a farm while he was being treated at Ann Arbor for cancer. And he died there. And my sister, who lives here, said, "You have to come live here." And so I'm here.
So your sister lives here.
She does. She went to Madison College.
Okay, yes.
Met
yeah,
her husband, and like so many people, loved it and decided to stay.
Right,
Good.
right.
So when I arrived here, all I had to do was talk for 5 minutes, and I found a connection with my sister or her kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And our town is so much richer to have you in it. I think.
Oh, Brittany.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on and butter you up.
So now, how long have you been in Harrisonburg?
12 years.
12.
12.
Oh man. Okay. So
man.
yeah.
So if you walk downtown,
We're right there with
you will
Portugal at
see
this
Yeah.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Portugal, Miami, Egypt.
Yeah, man.
We've got a Barbara Camph.
Oh, no, so where do I see her artwork
Yeah,
at?
if you walk around downtown, you're going to see her artwork. You'll see it definitely in the windows of Oasis Art Gallery, but you'll also see it on some walls, some public art spaces around the corner there beside Oasis. That's where the Love.
The Love Mosaic on Water Street. We did that a number of years ago, and I made a couple of mistakes on it, so we are rehabilitating.
Very good.
Can
The
I
love
ask
needs some
what can I ask what that means? Like mistakes.
You
What-
spelled it
I'm
right.
just
That-
interested.
We did spell it, but we had a spell check.
yeah.
LUV.
If you go by it, the letters are
Louvre.
3D. They
Ah.
stand out.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that some of them were like, what's that? Fake wood.
Okay.
And it has deteriorated over the years. And I've tried to repair it and couldn't. So we're redoing the letters. We'll chip out the old ones and put the new ones in.
Okay. Very cool.
That has love written on it in different languages.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. At the time,
Oh, so the spelling thing really is.
Yeah.
yeah.
It is important.
Thank you. You reminded me.
My
of that.
nephew was working at Harrisonburg High School, and he told me that there were 60 languages spoken there. And I
Yes.
thought,
Yeah.
oh, my God,
Yes.
how can we honor that?
Yeah. Right.
So we took little tiny white tiles to Harrisonburg High School and asked anybody who wanted to write love in their native language.
Awesome.
So we didn't get 60,
that's-
but we
yeah,
got a
right.
lot.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And, so that
that's
too
very
has
cool.
we have to touch that up because some of them are fading.
Was there any fact checking on that? Like, could somebody have
Actually, we
written
did,
like
because-
parsnip? That's not right.
One of the gals and I sat there with Google Translate.
Oh, really?
putting in them all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are
wow.
we going to
That's
find
funny.
a swear word?
Yeah,
Are we going to
right.
find a help or whatever?
I kind of thought that's what I would have
Yeah.
done. I
Oh,
would have
love-
been like,
love-
I speak a language.
Yeah.
No one's going to guess this one.
It's more of a verb in this language. Whoa.
You also have a mosaic on the corner of East Market Street and
Main.
Route 11. Yeah,
Main.
and that's a recycling.
It was. I was
reuse,
really
recycle?
involved with Earth Day every day when we did that, and they asked me to do something about saving the earth. So that one says.
I love that. They asked me to do something about saving the
That
earth.
was really my, that was my open
That was
book.
the direction.
Right.
I'm imagining the conversation. Barbara, we need you to save the earth.
Do I get to wear a cape?
Yeah.
Will you settle
something-
for a mosaic? Because it's going to be awesome.
So at that time, we were really interested in trying to get rid of single-use plastic.
Yeah.
So it says stop single-use plastics. Now, to your question, I had someone check it, and I had misspelled one of the words. So before I grouted it, we fixed that.
Okay. Yeah.
Good catch.
Now was the I guess the Love art, was it commissioned by the city, or just
No,
was
it was something I wanted to do, and Oasis always gets behind and said,
okay,
let's do
very
it.
cool.
But at the end, we did get a grant from the Virginia Commission for the Arts.
Okay.
So
Very cool. I always like to hear like who supports what, and often it is people in their own passion that are building
Yeah,
the things
right,
around here, and I
right.
think that's very cool.
yeah.
Barbara also has another project that's coming up that I'd like to talk about. But before we get into that, I want to tell a quick Barbara story.
Oh no.
No, I've told you this story because it cracks me up. Like every time. So, Harrisonburg is currently going through. Mike's just stopping recording for now.
No,
He's
you're
like
good.
butzing with the board.
You want to turn this, and then you can turn it.
Oh, adjustment.
There it is. Yeah.
Is
that
more
better?
comfortable?
Difference that made.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Just some equipment adjustment there.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Harrisonburg is going through some infrastructure work right now where they're redoing a lot of the sidewalks. And one of the first spots where they needed to redo the sidewalk, it's been done. So you're not going to get to see this thing I'm about to talk about because it's been fixed. But there for a while,
Destroyed.
destroyed. Yeah. There for a while, the sidewalks near Oasis were crumbling,
Yeah.
and Barbara had enough of it. And so, cut to me driving from the office to the theater up 11, and I see Barbara laying on the ground, on the curb, and I'm like, oh crap! I hope she's okay. It's broad daylight. People are walking around. I'm in a hurry, but I'm just like, man, I hope Barbara's okay, because I had to make a couple passes that day. So I came by later, and she wasn't there, and I was like, okay, she's probably fine. But you just worry about people when you see them laying in the road.
Sure. I mean,
to
unless
find
it's
out.
Dan.
Unless it's Dan.
If you're in the red, I'm just going like, oh, there's Dan.
Fine. I'll be all right. All right.
Get the chalk out.
Just a little nap. Little nap.
She had been getting her tiles and filling in and beautifying these cracks and dents in the sidewalk. It looked like this bite had been taken out of the sidewalk from tons of trucks trying to make that turn.
Yeah,
And
right.
just gnawing through the sidewalk. And Barbara had turned it into something that looked like a geode with her
very
glass
cool.
Awesome.
mosaics. And she did that in 2 spots. And they were just so delightful that you saw that part that you're like, I hate this. I'm going to make it pretty.
Exactly. It doesn't
Oh,
take
that's
much.
cool.
We call it gorilla mosaic.
Yeah, right.
So
Perfect.
the project that you're working on, you just got a grant for.
I did.
Which is pretty exciting. And it's about Newtown. I'm going to let you talk about it a little bit more.
Okay.
'Cause you know all the things.
So you guys know when I say Newtown, what I'm talking about. It's a northeast neighborhood.
Right.
And in the late 50s and early 60s, there was, quote, urban renewal, and a lot of the neighborhood was destroyed. I think we're all, people in Harrisonburg know that story. But the story that I wanted to tell was, what was life like in Newtown? And it turns out it was wonderfully vibrant. I mean, it was segregation and all
Sure.
of that, but forget that stuff.
Right.
The inhabitants that I've talked to, the people I've talked to, and I met so many wonderful people while I was doing my research. They had a way of life that they loved, they enjoyed, they made money,
Right.
and I heard great stories.
What years are we talking about as far as
Well, I think
Pre-roses.
Roses.
easily.
Yeah.
I think what I'm focusing on is probably late 40s
Okay.
to maybe late 50s.
Okay.
Very
cool.
Yeah,
all right.
It was a vibrant neighborhood. I mean, it really was. And as I said, I've met great people and hope to meet more because I have a little bit more research to do.
Right.
But so I've done 5 panels, and there are going to be 20 of them.
Wow.
The panels are 12 by 14, and they're glass mosaics on glass.
That's huge.
Well, they're individual.
Okay, yeah.
So each panel tells its own story.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I hope to get help from the Shenandoah Valley Black Heritage Program to help me get the plaques that explain what each mosaic is.
Right.
You know.
How long does it take to make something like that?
Well, I get in the zone. You know?
Oh, okay. You got
Yeah, I mean, it's just
when you're in the zone.
when you're in the zone.
Not long at all. 2-3 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm done.
right.
Time doesn't exist in the zone.
It
That's
does
right,
not
that's right.
exist,
Yeah.
you know, and so I don't know, a couple days probably
Yeah.
for each panel.
And the materials? I mean, I know nothing.
I'm a glass artist,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm just
right.
using my offcuts.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Tiny pieces of tile. They each kind of form a shape.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm working from photographs.
all right.
And transferring that into a mosaic style. So it's never exactly the same, but
Sure.
the plaques, you should be able to tell. You know.
Yeah.
So the first showing of all of these will be in March at Joanne Gavin's gallery. It's called 150 Franklin Street.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to her about the program, she was so excited. She said, let's do an exhibit here first before, because the thought is they're going to be mounted permanently outside somewhere.
Very cool.
Isn't that fun?
It is fun. It is fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's super fun. And I wish you the best of luck on making all those. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, no
It doesn't
doubt.
feel like
Doesn't
work.
feel like
No,
work?
it
I
doesn't
love
feel
it.
like work. So
Not in the zone. There's no work in the zone.
Yeah. Oh.
I need a T-shirt that says that.
There's no work.
No work in the zone. Now, you donate, how much time do you have to donate to be in the Oasis Gallery? What's that? How's that work out?
Well,
What's that?
if you're a full-time member like I am, you have to be a docent twice a month.
Twice a month.
And you have to do other things to help run the gallery.
Right.
You know, and it's a whole variety of stuff. You know, you have
Got to give blood.
Yeah, yeah.
That usually comes just from the dangers of art.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I mean,
Building sets, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of us who have perhaps walked in different social circles, what is a docent?
Oh,
Because it's a great word, but it's not common.
Salesperson.
Oh, salesperson.
Yeah. You have to run the square. You have to greet the customers.
Okay.
You have to know what's there. You know.
But there are docents in museums as well.
Exactly.
Though, right?
You know, and
is
that
used in
term I think is a little bit too highbrow. I
Okay.
just use it because I don't have
I
another
see.
word to use.
Yeah, yeah.
it's good to have a catch-all term.
I kinda,
I guess.
I like the highbrow word.
I do
Yeah.
too.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find another one. But
Well, Oasis Gallery has been around for a long time now. I mean, I can remember when so I've lived here. We've lived here all our lives. So, I mean, I can kind of remember when it just got started. When I was pretty young, but I mean, it seems like it's been. I've gone in every year at Christmas time.
good man, good man.
I bought some
Let's
mugs.
encourage all your listeners to come
Yes.
in
Yes.
for Christmas presents.
So please, all 4 of you, go into Oasis.
It used to be a pharmacy.
Yeah, and after that, it was an art supply store.
Oh yes, I remember it being an art
Yeah.
supply store. That's what it was.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't have any memory of that.
Yeah, it had a great smell. That smell of all the possibilities, charcoal and paper
That's the smell
you
of
would be- yeah,
possibility.
Lindsay
linseed oil, and
You being an artist, you would
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cool building too.
it is. Our landlord wants to keep it Art Deco. So he has now written in our lease that we're not allowed to attach anything else to the outside of the building.
Oh, interesting.
We call that the Barbara clause.
Ah.
But I was going to say we are starting our 25th year there.
Whoa.
That's
And
awesome.
Amazing.
I want to tell you what we're planning. Who knows if we'll be able to do it.
Okay.
we have this wild idea that we want to go for a Guinness Guinness Book World Record.
Yeah.
I always get
You
it
said
mixed up.
Guinness, we were ready.
Yeah.
We know what you're talking about. We were like either beer or records.
That's all,
Either
all
one.
they do.
I'm behind it either way.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
What are we doing?
I'll have 6.
That's a record.
So we're trying to find the right category, but we think it'll be something with mosaics, something involving the whole community, and we need city approval to. My biggest hope would be that we would get approval to decorate the Elizabeth Street parking deck, which is the ugliest structure in town. And I know they're going to rebuild it, so let us put art on panels on it.
Yeah.
Whatever influence you have here.
Oh, well.
Well,
I think the Barber Claus probably has more influence than we do. Right now, but that's all right.
They did do murals on the one side.
The Lucy Sims.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is fantastic.
It's fading, but it is a wonderful mural. Right?
Yeah.
So the idea would be that the panels would be removable, so
Yeah.
when the deck gets destroyed,
Right.
And
I like
we
it.
need help.
Yeah.
We need help. But anyway, that's a cool way to celebrate 25, right?
Absolutely.
That's very good.
Yeah. Well, I think that, more art, more people doing interesting
Absolutely.
things. That's what we need. And just makes life worth living. There you go. I know that's cliche in this day, but it really is. I love people being creative, and and I will make sure that I attach a picture because I want everyone to see Barbara's fantastic hair. It's important. This evening I was having dinner here, and Barbara, you showed up, and I was like,
that's right.
I bet that's our guest. I didn't know.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I said that's our
And
guest.
Emerson, the first thing I love your hair.
Yeah. Because it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's not it's outside of the norm, and that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, but you can get away with that here. When I first moved here, I met a teacher from a high school, and her hair was dyed rainbow, and it was such a revelation to me that a high school would allow that. When I went to school, that would not have been.
Not a thing.
No.
That's fun.
That is good.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, right?
I think it's a good sign.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so too. All right, y'all. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here and
Yes,
hanging out.
absolutely.
With Barbara.
I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for playing bingo. That's very cool.
It
We're
was
glad
cool. I'll be back.
Okay, very cool.
And I gotta say, thanks for landing in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
It really sounds
Yeah.
like you've done. My first time meeting you, but it sounds like you've been awesome in this town.
Yeah.
Boom.
The town's
Thank
been
you.
awesome to me.
Oh, good,
Thank
good.
you.
I do.
I'm
love
glad
this
we're
town.
right up there with Portugal and
Oh, yeah.
apparently Miami. too.
Not great parasailing, though. You've been listening to the Bingo is Life podcast, broadcasting from the historic Wine Brothers building at Ruby's Arcade, our sponsor.
Yes.
We're sponsored by Ruby's Arcade and by Mr. McGillicuddy's Herring Farm. You need a herring, you need Mr. McGillicuddy's. I'm Dan Easley.
McGillicuddy is getting so much kickback.
Yeah, that's right. All right, good night.
Thank you, guys.
Here we go. Let me get that picture.
Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers How to Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.